Because I would not want to wear you got me Clark Kent.
You got me.
She's like, you look like Clark Kent.
You got me worried like I'm going to be walking out of it.
Oh, no, you'll be blessed. You'll be blessed. It's just me. My eyes go funny in any dark. When it goes dark and that, my eyes go funny anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I can't, to be fair,
It might just be talking as well.
I might be a bit of fucking empty.
I don't even know. Or I'm just making bad excuses.
You've been training today?
Nah, not today, man. I was meant to go CrossFit this morning, but I felt fucked, bro.
Where'd you go out?
Do you know what? From last weekend, because obviously Ticey fought, and then Dan McGowan fought as well, innit? From that weekend, man, drinking 2 days in a row. I'm an old man, bro. I fully can't do it. I swear to God. I fully can't do it, man. It just fucks me up too much. Like this whole week, my motivation has been.
It's not even worth it. I don't know how people do it and they drink like every weekend.
I know,
and go
man.
about their business. 'Cause I'm just like, how?
You think back to like how could you have done that back in the day and been blessed? Like go to work.
I feel I don't know. Like when I feel like when you're younger, it's like it's just not something you think about. It's just something that you do. Like you're so used to doing it when you're 17, 18, 19, 20. And then as soon as I got to my 22, 23, 24, I got diagnosed with diabetes as well, bro.
Yeah.
Diabetes, that's what fucked me over. I can't drink no more, bro. Was
it the sugar probably in the alcohol and that?
Yeah, just like my sugar levels just go all over the place because of it, man. It's fucking long.
Well, do you have to like...
So what is diabetes? Like when your sugar levels just spike?
It's that. So basically your pancreas can't produce insulin. So insulin's what regulates your blood sugar levels. And I just don't produce it, so I've got to inject it. But then drinking like sends your sugar levels all over the gaffs, because if I'm drinking beer all day, that would make my sugar levels go down. But if I was drinking like a cider, or say I have like a rum and coke, like a normal coke, like that would send my sugar levels up. Like it's just.
Should you have to
so your hormones must just be mad ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it can affect other hormones as well, but the only hormone that I don't have is insulin. So that's why I have to inject that. But then it's like if I go out drinking, say I might eat something and forget that I haven't given myself insulin. And then my sugar levels will go bare high, and then I've got to try and bring it back down. It's just.
Well, do you have to give yourself insulin every time?
What do you feel? What's like?
So like when you have a hypo, it's like it feels like you're drunk. So when I'm drinking, it's like sometimes I can't tell if I'm just a bit steaming or if my sugar levels are low, innit? Like I was in Thailand with the boys. Fucking hell, when was this? 2018 or something like that, and. We was out drinking all day. Went to like was on Phi Phi, Koh Phi Phi in Thailand, and we went to like Monkey Island. We did all the islands and stuff, and then we went to some beach club party. And like, I just thought I was steaming because we were drinking all day, innit? And then we got back to the room, and I went and lay down for a bit, and my sugar levels were bare low, innit? So after we went back to the room, all the lads were like, "We're gonna go," and I was like, "I'm just gonna chill here for a bit," and then I ended up falling asleep, but. Because I was in a hypo, like when I fell asleep, it's like I couldn't physically wake myself up because my sugar levels are so low. And then all the lads were coming back to check on me. A few of them come back to the room, they're like shaking me and that to make sure I'm all right. And I'll be grunting, but I wasn't really responding. And then they left. And they were like, "Reece seems a bit fucked." And then Roberto come back, and luckily at the time, this girl Dara, who I went to school with, she's a nurse. She was there at the same time. And Roberto was like, "Well, Reece in a hypo, like, can you come and help us?" He found her in the street when he went to go get me some Fanta. And she come back, and then they fucking had to feed me Fanta. And I was just having this dream that I was in under a waterfall because they were pouring Fanta all over my face. Mad, bro. Like, if they weren't there, bro, I'm finished. I swear to God, dead. Finished.
From a hypo?
Yeah.
Hypo can kill you?
Yeah, hypo can kill you, yeah.
Fucking
hell. It's mad.
Do you have to have insulin after every time you eat?
You inject insulin before you eat carbohydrates, basically. Like, other stuff can affect it as well. Like, fats can affect it, and so even like a sugar-free drink, that can sometimes affect your sugar levels. I'm not really sure why it happens, but yeah, that can affect your sugar levels as well.
And you found this out when you...
Huh? Type 1, yeah. So type 1's where your pancreas essentially doesn't produce insulin. Type 2 is where you become, where you lose your sensitivity to insulin. Yeah. Like it'll be through like your lifestyle, like diet habits and stuff. Yeah.
Type 2 you can reverse.
Yeah, you can reverse type 2, but type 1 is just...
And you're type 1?
Yeah, type 1, yeah.
Fuck. What, and you only found out when you were 20-something?
21 I got diagnosed, yeah.
What, did you say, have you had it for the whole time?
So it's in my family, innit? So my auntie is diabetic, which she's passed away, and my cousin Aaron's diabetic as well. And obviously it's on my mum's side of the family. So obviously I pulled the short straw, bruv. It's
Yeah,
fucking long.
man. That's peak. When people talk about diabetes and that, I never
I never deep
deep it as well. Because
yeah.
everyone says to me like, if you eat too much sugar, you're gonna get diabetes.
That's type 2 though.
Oh, that's type 2, so it's reversible.
Yeah. Type 2 is reversible. Type 1 is just luck of the draw, bro.
Yeah. Oh, that is fucking mad, man. People, we got Reece Cooper with us. You're leading the charge in Luton for helping athletes reach their optimal through training and strength and conditioning. Yeah. We'll talk about Ticey to start off with, because like you were saying just before, she had a big win the other day, like
win,
huge.
yeah, Commonwealth title, second time out. I mean, in my opinion, she won it the first time as well, but it's like since the loss against Nina Hughes, like she's been on another level, man. Like ridiculously good. Like in sessions with me, in sessions with Tony, her sparring has been next level. Everyone's like, what the fuck has happened to her? So she's hitting PBs with me like every session. It was mad.
Yeah,
like unreal.
Yeah, she looked. Yeah,
that might have needed that loss though, innit?
Yeah, like so if it's not necessarily a loss for her. It was just a lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can go one of two ways. The loss can be like you can send your west, or you can grow from it. And she fucking grew from it.
I think it was a confidence booster for her, because she went the full distance with a girl who was in the Olympic team, Nina Hughes, wasn't she? I swear she was like Olympic level.
I'm not sure if she was in.
She was training around. I think she was training.
Maybe she was. She's world champion now.
She was training around GB. I don't know if she ever went to the Olympics, but I'm sure when I searched up before, she was training with GB.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
And I feel like because it was a close fight, which could have gone either way, that's kind of like, it didn't damage her confidence. She didn't go in there and get schooled. She went in there and held her own. It was 4 fights? 5 fights?
Yeah,
that was her fourth.
That was her fifth fight.
You reckon it was too soon? Well, you say that.
No, I think it was perfect.
I don't think it was too soon.
Wasn't the white side? She just fought. She was Commonwealth champion,
Commonwealth,
and European champion,
and she's European and world silver medalist, I think, as well. Yeah.
And how old was that girl, the lady?
Lisa.
Yeah.
She's 36, I want to say.
So you're tumbling it with people, and Ticey's young.
Yeah.
And do you know what impressed me most about her performance? There was a few times where that Lisa, she didn't want to box, she just wanted to scrap, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she hit Ticey hard, and I was like, whoa. And then you just seen Ticey bite down and just hit her back as hard as she just got hit and start just throwing down.
A couple times when she took a clean shot, you just saw her eyes change. and then she just put a combination together. I was like, go on, girl, let's
start
go.
backing up. She took a clean shot, bit down, and just started throwing 100%. Down. And I was like, this is a fucking mad fight. This fight was that fight was so good.
There was
that dog in her.
Yeah,
there was a moment in like the 7th round, like the 6th round, I feel like could have, like, I think it went Lisa's way. Like a couple of the middle rounds went Lisa's way, and the 7th round she come out and she was fighting unreal, and she just slip right hand over the top, and I was like, her hands were down by her side when she did it. I was like, that is fucking unreal. Like, you know when you just have the moments you're like, yeah, you look world class when you did that.
Yeah,
like she had moments like that in that fight, and like all of her other previous fights, like comfortable wins for Ticey, but it's like you were just waiting for that little bit of something extra from her. And then this fight, like
because that fight brought out a character.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
it's because she was fighting someone who's actually walking forward and trying to win a fight.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes when you fight these people who are just curling up and moving back, they're a bit harder to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the Nina fight was a hard fight the first time round, because it was a lot of pressure. Like Nina pressured her so much, and it's like, again, I always say it, like I think Ticey won, but it's like you can see why I can see why it went Nina's way. She was constant forward pressure, and sometimes Ticey didn't know what to do with it. Like she wasn't making angles as well, but you saw in this fight, like she was rarely just backing up. She would make angles, then she's throw to the body, throw to the head. Like she was mixing it up, and you could tell that Lisa was struggling with that. Like you could see Lisa was always on the back foot, and Ticey was controlling the tempo of the fight. So.
Yeah, it was a good fight. And it's good for the gym as well, and obviously all the hard work you've been putting in.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like,
did you ever have any? Did you ever have any doubt when you went in? Like, is this a bit of a step up? Because a lot of people were saying it might be. Even Ticey said to me the other day, she goes, everyone in the arena was saying like she shouldn't have took the fight. It was a step up, and then she went out there and demolished.
I've been saying since I started working with Ticey, she's going to be a world champion, man.
Yeah,
that's that. Like, I'll put your money on that now. That's fact for me. She's going to be Luton's first world champion, 100%. I've no doubt about it in my mind. Huh? Oh, second, yeah, sorry,
second,
second.
First female.
First female, yeah.
I done that one. Sam King done that one to me as well. Sam King done me that
one. What's the feeling like? Like one of your athletes has just won a belt.
Bro, unreal. I was fucking.
I seen you in the ring.
Honestly, I'm fucking loving it. Because I was just like by the side of the ring with like just with all Tyce's family and that, and I was celebrating, and then I was like, I saw Tyce and she was calling me over, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go in. But yeah, man, look, again, obviously, I'm just like a tiny piece of the puzzle, but I'm just happy to be part of the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it, man.
And it's something you like when we done we're filming bits of Frankie's, you were saying how you love working with the athletes.
Oh, I love it.
Has that brought out a new side for you, like a new love for personal training and stuff like that?
Yeah, do you know what? It's probably made me go more the other way. Like I much prefer working with athletes. Like, I mean, I love working with general pop as well, but it's like I don't want just someone who's looking to just lose weight, look better, and it's like, yeah, cool, that's cool. I get that everyone wants to look a little bit better, but it's like the fact that they're training with me not to be better at boxing. I can't help them with that, but it's like produce a little bit more power, make them a little bit faster, make them last a little bit longer. Like there's extra incentives, like extra motivations for their training with me. When it comes to like weight loss, it's just an aesthetic goal. Once you've got it, like you go on your holiday.
It's like they've already got the foundation.
Yeah.
Just build on that foundation.
Exactly. It's like, and it's
you
like
know the mindset.
And it's a long-term mindset as well. It's not like with a lot of people with training and nutrition and just going to the gym in general. It's short-term mindset. You're like, okay, I want to get a six-pack for when I go to Ibiza, and then I don't give a shit after
What's
that.
that diet that's out, that fad, like egg diet?
Yeah. Have you not heard about this egg diet?
It's on TikTok as well. They just eat eggs and a little bit. You're just in a massive calorie deficit. That's it.
Well,
I'm starving.
It's like weight loss is like that in general. It's obviously very simple principles. You want to be in a calorie deficit. You want to well, that's the main one, being a calorie deficit. But it's like there's so many ways to achieve a calorie deficit, and it's hard. It's so hard to stick to. Like if your goal is just to look better, unless you really actually want to look better, like it's easy to do it for a couple of weeks, and if you don't see results, just like, do I care that much about how I look? Like me personally, yeah, I'm in pretty good shape year round. I mean, it is kind of my job, but I'm in pretty good shape year round. But when it comes to like getting a six pack, I just think, I can't be arsed, bruv. Like that means I have to restrict my calories. I have to watch what I'm eating. I have to watch what I'm eating all the time. And I don't get to, I won't be able to just go for a beer whenever I want, or like have a takeaway whenever I want. I like being able to do that stuff, innit? Like,
yeah,
the aesthetic part for me is such a small part of it. It's like when I train, it's like I'm training to get better at CrossFit. Like when I get a skill, when I get a new skill, like learn to do my first bar muscle up or ring muscle ups, like that's the reason that I love training. Like it's got nothing to do with how I look. It's just it's to do with how it makes me feel. Like you see that Instagram post I put up of me hitting that PB on my clean and jerk and snatch. It's like I love that shit. That's the shit I love. The performance stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's what drives me with working with fighters as well, because it's all performance related. And it's like if you see them go from fight to fight, they're getting better. They're getting more powerful. Their footwork's getting better. Like things like that. Like they're the little details that are making the big difference to their fight. And it's like, oh man, I'm a tiny bit of that. And that's what I love about it.
So when you first started with the Hills Development, did you actually think you would be going in to do that, or was it just for personal training?
Nah, just for personal training. Yeah, do you know what? I was an engineer. I was an electrical engineer before I was a personal trainer, and it was fucking shit. Mate, honestly, I'd have days at work. Yeah, I'll just go sit on the toilet for when you when you go for a shit. Yeah, it's just like that long ass shit. 2 hours on the toilet, like where your batty's hurting afterwards. I'm just sitting there on my phone for too long. Yeah, bro, that's what I needed, man.
How
honestly.
many years did you do that for?
I did it for 5 years. Yeah, it was an apprenticeship, innit? So it was a 4-year apprenticeship, and then I stayed on for another year, doing systems engineering.
Oh, okay.
Oh, mate, that shit made me want to kill myself, honestly.
And have you always been like a trainer, like always trained and stuff like that?
Yeah. So when did I start training properly? I've always been into sport, like in general. Like I've done loads of sports, like football, rugby, boxing, judo. Like, I've always had my hand in some sort of sport. But then when I got to sixth form, that's when I started going to the gym. Like, I was quite skinny in it, and I just wanted to get a little bit bigger. And then I just sort of fell in love with training, basically. So yeah, that's where it started. And then like the more I trained, like the more I wanted to know about training and nutrition, and like I got myself into a pretty decent nick. And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to do this as like as a living. And when I was in college, I was like chatting to this personal trainer at the college gym, at Luton sixth form gym. Can't remember his name now, to be fair. But I was thinking, that's like, he's coming to work every day and his job is just train people, like chatting to chicks, chatting to the boys about lifting weights. And I'm thinking, this is calm. This is what I want to do. But then I sort of got put off it. Just like, you speak to your family and that, you think, oh, maybe you can't make a living out of it, rare. And then I did an apprenticeship for 4 years, hated every minute of it. My first year was all right, actually, I can't lie. My first year, I got paid to go to college, so that was pretty calm. But yeah, other than that, I was just like, this just ain't what I want to do. Like, not what I want to do at all. I think like Conor Mackin probably told you a similar thing. Yeah. Like, he did PT for a bit, then he went to work, and he was like, it's just not what you want to do, innit?
And then went back to PT.
Yeah. And they ended up going back to PT, and now he's smashing it now. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm still like nowhere near where I want to be in my field, but mate, I'm in the field. So.
You made a start.
Yeah.
So what actually gave you the confidence to make that jump? Because there's probably loads of people out there that feel like that. They're slogging it away at work, and they've got something they want to do, but they're like, financially, how can I, like, what do you have any advice for anyone sort of making the jump?
Do you know, I honestly didn't have any barriers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was 23, living at home. Like, I had no responsibility. Like, it's way easier for me. It's like, if you've got a family, and you're trying to change jobs, it's a lot harder to do. But it's like anything, the more work you put in, the more rewards you'll get out of it. And it's like, I feel like you got to be smart with PT as well. Like, now you can you can make everything a lot more hands off for PT. So it's like, if you get yourself like a training app, you can have automated messages sent to clients. You can have you can just automate a lot more. So it's like, you can spend minimal time doing the things that take the most time. Yeah, like the things that take the most time is like talking to all your clients and then doing the programming and stuff. But it's like, if you put systems in place, which is something I'm trying to work on at the minute, like trying to put systems in place to make the tasks that take the longest time shorten down. It means you can spend more time actually making a bit of money out of it. So it's like, I just think if you're someone who's doing a job that they hate, but you've got a lot of responsibilities, like you've got a lot more to think about, man. You've got to make sure before you change jobs, you're getting enough income to cover the income that you're going to lose. Like, so if people in that situation, I can't really advise you on that. But if you've got no responsibilities and you're doing something you hate, just sack it off and do something new.
Yeah.
It's literally as simple as that. Sack it off, do something new.
Yeah.
Then if you hate that, sack that off, do something new. It's like,
Well, you're at a young enough age.
I was just saying, I heard a quote the other day. It was like, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
100%.
I think that was a good quote.
Reminds you of Jocko, will it? You know, prioritise and execute. Prioritise and execute.
Do you need any qualifications for going into personal training?
So I got like a PT level 3 with Premier Global, I want to say. I can't even remember the company. Yeah, I want to say it's Premier Global. But I feel like it doesn't matter who you get your qualification with, honestly. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's just a box ticking exercise, so you can be insured to do it, basically. Yeah. Any old spastic can be a personal trainer, honestly. But it's like,
it's true. It's up to you how far you take it. It's up to you how far.
Yeah. Like if you want to be a good personal trainer, obviously you've got to you've got to put the work in. You've got to know what you're talking about. But it's like, the other thing is, like, you got to find your sort of niche within personal training as well. Like, you got to know who you're trying to target. Like, I know now, like, I'm trying to target fighters. That's who I want to work with. But it's like, before that, it's like you sort of end up working with anyone and everyone. Yeah, and it's from that you've got to figure out, okay, these are the people that appeal to me the most as a trainer, and now I've got to try and target what I'm doing to that type of clientele. Yeah, that's the.
And what's the process been like with the coaches actually letting you in? Because I noticed it with Frankie's second fight, and you're probably there for his first fight as well. But Tony actually letting you in and do the warm up with him, because I've not seen a lot of people do that with fighters. So what's it been like? Because obviously you do it with Jordan now as well.
Yeah.
What's it? Have they taken kind to you just coming in and just doing your thing?
Yeah, I think I haven't had any barriers to it, to be honest with you. Luckily I worked with Chunky before I worked with Tyson and Frankie, so that's how I even got into boxing. So shout out to Chunky for that, because I'm doing what I love basically because of him. But yeah, because I knew Tony before through working with Chunky and going down to the gym quite a lot. Like we ended up just having a good relationship, and I sort of, ever since we've spoken about what it is I do with the guys and how I think it will benefit them, and now we're sort of seeing. Like, we're seeing things like, Tyce's hitting a bit harder, things like that. Like, they're the little things we need. Like, you saw Lisa's face after that fight.
Bashed. So what are you doing with him before the fight? Having them warm up properly?
just warm them up properly. Like,
how important is that for a fighter to warm up properly before a fight?
Very important, man. Very important. Like, look, I mean, a lot of fighters are just going to do a bit of skipping. They'll do some pad work. They're good to go. But it's like, I feel like you wanna prime someone for what they're trying to do in the ring. It's like, I want Tyce, Frankie, all my guys to be explosive before they get in the ring. So we try and target that before the fight. It's like, I'll take them through their specific warm up routines. It'll be a bit of stretching, a bit of dynamic work. Then once they're warm, we'll start doing some light plyometrics, and we might get a medicine ball out, or we might do isometric punch holds and stuff like that. It's like, I'm trying to prime them so everything's fired. So they're firing and they're snappy when they're in the ring. It's like, the last thing you want is to go into the ring cold. You want to go in ready to throw hands, and that's basically what I'm trying to prime them to be able to do. And again, it's like, I'm doing that before, like, they do their pad work and stuff. So it's like, they'll do their 10, 15, 20 minutes with me, and then they'll do their stuff with Tony or whoever their trainer is, and yeah, we go from there. But that's the whole idea behind the warm up. Is like, the warm up they're doing with me before their fight is the sort of stuff we will go through before any of their training sessions as well, or the sort of stuff I'll ask them to do before they train with Tony in the gym. So it's like,
it's important.
Like with Tyce especially, because she's the person I've worked with the most. Like, I could say nothing and just leave her to it. She'd go through the routine, because it's just so ingrained now. And like, that consistency, that routine is very important. Like, and like for me, like, I know if I don't do certain things before I train, so I don't feel right. Like, maybe it's like a me thing, or maybe it's just a psychological thing. But
when I got into bodybuilding, I used to bodybuild. When I made the switch to CrossFit, and I started to realise you have to prime your body, warm up properly, you feel so way much better. Even if I do bodybuilding now, like, priming yourself beforehand, you are you're so ready to go. Everything feels better. You feel the motion. You feel full range. Like, it's a lot better.
I think it's because we spend so much time sitting down now. It's like if I just got up off the couch here and went for a run, I get like aches in my calves, like my quads. I'm like, I just feel my hips feel fucked. And but if I do a little bit of a warm up first, like my normal warm up, then it's like, I feel sweet. Every single time.
It reminds people when they go football. Yeah. Everyone just rocks out, rolls out of bed, and they're like, yeah, we're up to play the game.
That baffles me. And then you get in them hamstring tears left, right, and centre. I'm like, what do you expect, man? Come on.
Hamstring injury.
And then they'll be like, oh, but that guy's never had nothing done to him. It's like, yeah, he might just be the lucky one.
Yeah.
100%. You do get people like that. They can just roll up and like just keep playing, and nothing ever happens to them.
Yeah, just never injured. Like, that's.
So was combat sports something you were always interested? Like, you just touched on, you done a bit of boxing when you were younger. Is it something you've always loved?
I've always, like, obviously, like everyone, I love football, but like, Liverpool are my team. Like, so that's when it comes to football. Like, I'm interested in Liverpool. Like, but with combat sports, like, I'd say I'm probably more of an MMA fan, honestly. Like, the UFC is just so good, it's just wild, isn't it, man? Yeah. It's just the best fight the best, and I love that. Like, we got some good fights this weekend. Obviously, Tank Ryan Garcia. That's a big fight for boxing. Do you know what I mean? Like, shit like that. I fancy Garcia. I just think he's a better boxer. But Tank, man, he can just knock anyone out. You don't know, innit? And Ryan's like, I feel like
Ryan's got that power though.
Yeah, no, he does that left hook as well is mad. But but he's cutting down to it's catch weight, isn't it? 136.
It's catch weight, and I think he's got a rehydration clause as well.
Oh, does he?
Tank put a rehydration clause in it.
Because he's gone up to 140 recently, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so
I mean, you think he fought Luke Campbell? Luke Campbell's not small.
Yeah.
Tank's pretty small.
Yeah.
So it is a drop. But I was listening to someone speak about it the other day, and who like knows Ryan Garcia. He does a podcast, and he was saying that he thinks Ryan knows something, or Ryan's team knows something about Tank that they think they can exploit, because he's accepted like rehydration clauses, I think some stuff to do with money, everything, and he goes, no one would accept, like, he's made him jump over hurdles to make the fight, and he's just gone accept it. So he thinks they see something in Tank's game that they're like, we can win this fight, accept all of it doesn't matter. And Tank's put so many barriers in place because it's Mayweather's team, like they're always going to do that sort of stuff. They want every advantage possible. And he said, like, personally knowing him, some of the stuff he's not allowed to say out there that he's told me, like, no one would take this fight. So his team must know something.
Yeah.
That's the only shit thing with boxing.
That is so shit.
So many hurdles. Why is there so many hurdles?
Well, it's like the fucking Usyk and Fury fight recently, bruv. That has done my head in. Just fucking fight, man.
Fury's been a bit of an idiot recently, and he's gone back to his old self before he come back a little bit.
So I love Tyson Fury, man. He's just that personality you need in boxing, but at the same time, it's like, that's the fight that everyone wants. Unified and fight AJ and everyone's happy. Do you know what I mean? But it's so hard to why is it so hard to make it? Like, again, why are you putting in all these hurdles?
I think if AJ had it, he'd fight AJ. So I think he knows he batters AJ. I think Usyk, he's actually thinking, you know what? I think if he was confident, he would have went for it. I think he would,
because I reckon if
AJ had the belts, he'd 100% fight AJ. See, I reckon he smokes AJ.
Fury's fighting now I think he's just fighting for money, if I'm honest. I think like he wants to get as much money as possible.
Yeah,
Derek Chisora though. Come on, he just got Derek Chisora paid.
I hear what you. But Derek Chisora is his boy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
He's just trying to give him some money. He's like, here you go,
donation.
They're spying after the fight. Like, appreciate that.
That's what I mean.
But I mean, I don't personally agree with it. I think Tyson Fury is a fighting man, but I feel like because he knows he's the man, it's like he wants everything to be on his terms. I think even that's why him and AJ's last fight fell through as well, because Tyson Fury wants everything on his terms now. He's like I'm the guy, which he is, to be fair, but it's just give us the fight, man.
I've always said it. I think it would just be easier if it was just 60-40. If you win, you get 60%. If you lose, you get 40. More incentive to win and just fight.
Still, I don't think that will work. Though,
no, it won't work. Obviously, it's not working. They're trying to do 70-30.
Eddie Hearn was saying that 30% clause is still Usyk's biggest payday by far.
Yeah.
But I just think it's fairer to just say, if you win, you get 60. If you lose, you get 70.
Yeah, like you said, like if we had an arena of, let's say, 50,000 fans and Tyson Fury sells 45,000 of them, why should he get limited to 60%?
Because I think the thing is, when you get to them levels of boxing, it's, you can go and fight people with no name, but they're not as, Usyk hasn't got a name because of his personality.
That's how we're moving here, by the way.
Yeah. That's how we're moving, jabroni. We need a sponsor of them as well. So if they're watching, anyone sponsor the potty.
I thought it was going to be one of Tony's bottles that you took from
No. Yeah, I'll get onto that story. But Usyk's not got a name because of his personality, but it doesn't take away that how good, like, he's the best, he's one of the best boxers in the world. Do you know what I mean? One of the pound for pound. It's just Tyson Fury's more of a character that's going to suck more people in. That's where back in the day, it was just the best fight the best. UFC, the best fight the best. They're not. I think in the UFC, if you win, you get a bonus. If you lose, you don't. I'm sure you get a win bonus.
You get a win bonus.
So I prefer that style of.
I agree. Of but boxing will never. Boxing will never be like that, because there isn't one big umbrella over all the belts. Or there isn't. If there were just one belt like there is in the UFC.
Yeah.
Other than when they throw interims and all that other bollocks, the BMF belt. I don't know. If, would that ever be fought for again? That would just.
He's retired. BMF's gone.
But when he lost, I'm thinking surely whoever he loses to gets the BMF belt. Surely Usman gets it, but you can't give it to Usman, can you? He's not.
Nah, Leon Edwards would have it, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well,
technically.
No. Covington would have it. No. Oh, actually, no. Yeah.
Usman won first against Masvidal.
Yeah.
So he would have it, then
and then Leon Edwards
would have it. But that's the thing that frustrates me with boxing. But I think boxing's being overtaken, not money wise, because it's built up its reputation, its name. But in terms of talk and what people actually want to watch, I think UFC, Thai, all of these things are being, especially now with John Haggerty just winning the belt. That's big. Serious for Thai in the UK. That's serious because he wants to fight in England. Yeah, he's like, I'm fighting in Wembley and I want to fight Liam Harrison.
He's an animal. He's an animal.
Yeah, he wants to fight Liam Harrison in Wembley.
Mate, that was unreal.
I swear that guy was unbeaten. He was fighting as well. I think that Nongo or something like that. Or he had not lost. He had not really lost in one or nothing.
No, he's a good fighter.
Got spark.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it. I
need to watch the full fight. I watched the knockout though. Mad.
Haggerty, Liam Harrison would be a massive fight for the UK.
Massive in the
UK. I saw him at Dan's fight at the weekend as well, actually. Yeah. So mad old.
Did you
mad old world
get to take a photo with Roy Jones Jr.?
I didn't. Nah, it was mad seeing him at York Hall.
It's so random.
It's like
I wish we did. To be fair,
I was just like
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. was there. Yeah,
because
York Hall.
Because he's Archie Sharp's coach, isn't it?
Oh, that's mad.
Yeah, I was just there like
walking around.
What the? Yeah, that's what I was like to pricing. I got to pricing your brother. I was like, Roy Jones Jr. And they were like,
mad.
What are you on about? Looked over. Adam was like, no, it is. Roy Jones. She's like, I want to get a photo of him. He did get one. Yeah,
Roy Jones Jr.
But that was mad. That's good though. Roy Jones Jr. is about. He's pretty active in the UK, isn't he? He's got a few fighters in the UK.
Obviously, it started for Eubank, innit? That's who we started working with first. But yeah. I didn't realise he spent so much time there though.
Yeah, he's kind of.
I don't know if he does, but
no, I've seen him in England like quite a bit, and he just literally fought like the other
I know, Anthony Pettis, and that was in America. That was on Masvidal's thing, isn't it?
What did he? He didn't win, did he?
Pettis
won. He lost.
Did he get beat up though?
I think it was a pretty close fight. I didn't watch it, but I think it was a close fight. I mean, was it split decision or unanimous?
I think unanimous.
Unanimous. Yeah.
I see a video the other day of Mike Tyson training again.
Oh,
danger!
Yeah,
he'll always be danger, man.
Yeah,
forever.
Meaty shots, man.
He does.
He will ever go get his mindset to the point where he's going 100% though.
I feel like your body won't let you now, and he'll never lose his power. That's the last thing to go. But look, he's what 55 years old or something. You know what I mean, he's
in incredible shape.
Yeah, he's in unreal shape, but he's an old don now. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to be beating no champions.
Nah. But when you still see him hitting them shots,
Joe.
Yeah,
he's smashing
out. Smashing
the shit out of it.
100%.
Yeah, he is smashing. With Frankie and Tyce's fighting, because obviously I said this to you as well. Like, you were the first person. Like, for some reason, like Jordan and Frankie have lived in Farley Hill their whole life, but they never crossed paths. They never really spoke about boxing or anything like that. Yeah. And you were like the first person who's brought like all of them together. Yeah. Like when I see that video of like them all training in the gym, I was thinking, fucking hell, like you've just brought all three boxers. That's three different minds. That's three different like techniques.
Yeah, that was a proud moment for me, man.
That's a massive moment, man. And I see you were trying to get Linus as well.
Yeah, man, I'd kill for that too. But you know, he's got his own coach. Just sack him off, mate. Come on,
Linus, you little
come through, Linus, man. I got you, bro.
I'm talking to you like you little punk. What are you doing? Keep it in Luton, you punk. No, but so that was a good moment to like see from the outside. What's it been like working with each one of them?
Unreal, bro. That's the best part of my week, working with the fighters. Like Tuesdays, I work with Tycee, Jordan, and Frankie all on the same day. It's fucking sick day.
Tuesdays is a lit day.
Tuesdays is the day, man. That's it.
How many days a week do you train with them?
With Frankie only once a week, because Frankie's doing about a million other things. I mean, he's a bricklayer. He does one-to-one PT. That kid's just always doing something. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to get in as often as I'd like with Frankie. But Tycee and Jordan twice a week. Like I feel like as a fighter, the most important thing, if you're doing any sport, the most important thing you can do is your sport. Do that as often as possible. Work on your skills. Like even with my fighters, I get them all to use those reaction balls. So like as part of their warm up, or if they're doing a session by themselves, like I got it because I work with Tom Ansell as well. So I got one for Tom recently. I'm doing a bit of work with Callum as well. So I got all of them these reaction balls. So it's like, because that's part of their warm up. They can work on their hand speed, their coordination. You're not seeing them like the little bands, or like you can tie it to your hat. It's like a
and then yeah. I'm with you.
One of them things. I think that is the most important thing you can do. It's like, strength and conditioning is great, and you should be doing some sort of strength work. You should be doing some sort of conditioning work, but the most important thing is your sport, 100%. And the people that are doing like S&C 4 times a week, I'm thinking it's just too much, man. You're not going to be able to recover for your sport. That's why when it comes to like fighting in camps, we end up doing stuff that is like a lot of isometric work, like towards the end of camp, because if I'm getting someone to squat heavy or deadlift heavy, it's like you feel the fatigue. You know, like all you will know, after you go to the gym, you do squats or deadlifts, it's like you're aching.
Yeah.
You're aching for days after that. But it's like, how can I then expect you to go and spar 12 rounds when you've been
you're depleted?
When you're depleted or your muscles are trying to recover. It's like you've got to be smart about how you're training first of all. But the most important thing is you've got to be doing your sport as often as you can.
So do you tailor the workouts to do with their training routines and stuff like that? Yeah. With like how much reps they're going to do? Like, do their rep ranges tailor down and up from which part of camp they're in?
Yeah. So start of camp is normally like their strength phase. So say you got a 8-week camp, we'll say a shorter camp, 8-week camp. Like your first few weeks is going to be more strength focused, and then you're going to go into like your strength speed phase. So you start bringing in more plyometrics, and the rep range is always going to stay quite low.
What's the rep ranges from?
So for your main strength movements, it'll be like 3 to 5 reps, and then it'll be for any like explosive work, so jumps or throws, that sort of stuff will be 3 to 5 reps. The rep ranges are always quite low. It's only higher rep stuff with, say we were doing like calf raises, or you're doing isolation work. When you're doing isolation work,
muscles.
Yeah. When you're doing isolation work, you tend to do higher rep ranges, so maybe 8 to 12 sort of reps. But again, it's like the more eccentric loading we do, the more fatigue you get. So it's like, that's why you know like guys love feeling that burn after a training session. It's like the more of that burn you feel is like the more muscle damage you're creating. So the more muscle damage we create, the more there is to recover from. So it's like you don't want to go too deep with your reps or too far with your reps, because then you've got way more to recover from, and it's going to affect your training in your sport, which again is the most important thing.
So would they do like a boxing session early on the same day, or anything? Would they do boxing and strength and conditioning in the same day?
It all depends. It all depends on what they like, on how their day is split up. But yeah, a lot of the time they'll say I have on a Tuesday I train Ticey in the morning, but she doesn't. I don't think she trains with Tony on a Tuesday evening. But Frankie on a Tuesday as well. He doesn't. I don't think he boxes on a Tuesday either. But it's a lot different with Ticey and Frankie, because Frankie's got to work too. But Ticey is like sometimes she'll train in the morning with Tony, or afternoon, evening, depends how it works out for him. So it's pretty much based on their day. But they will normally train twice a day. And whether that's a run and training with me, or a run and boxing, or
how do you work out how much weight they should be lifting?
It's sort of based on, we do like test sessions, so it's like, or not even just test sessions, it's based on like how they did in their last camp. Like we'll say at the end of camp is when you're peaking. So if we're doing any strength work, it'll be very low rep. It'll be very low rep ranges. So I might say for example, I might get someone to do box squats in their last few weeks of camp, but again, we rarely do that now. It's more isometric stuff. But I know, say Ticey lifted 100 kilos on her back squat for 3 reps. It's like, I know, okay, they're the sort of numbers we're trying to get above in our next camp. So we keep a record of that, and then it's like we take a percentage of her best lift. So say if we're doing low rep 3 to 5 rep stuff, we want to be working around 80% of a 1 rep max. So it's just we base it on that, or 80% and above. So at the start of camp, you might be working on 80% for 3 to 5 reps, and then you go a few weeks later, you're up to 85 or 90% for 3 to 5 reps, and then that's going to set her new baseline. So her next camp is like, we're say in that camp I've increased her PB by 10 kg. It's like, okay, next camp we're trying to increase it by another 5 kg. As long as we're moving in an upward trend, we know it's going. So
right. Do you keep records on everyone and everything?
Yeah,
you just keep it in like a book and stuff that, and just
Yeah, so that's something I've been putting together recently, like a spreadsheet of just everyone's numbers, and it's good as well because then the guys can sort of compete against each other as well. Brings like some in-house competition, like with Ticey and Jordan and Tom recently. It's been like their jump records. So depth drop to broad jump is like an exercise we use a lot for like reactive strength and speed. So it's like you step off a box and then you make quick contact with the floor and broad jump as far as you can. Yeah. So it's literally like you see people doing pogos, but their feet slapping off the floor. It's like that. You basically don't want your heels to touch the floor. You want as quick a reaction time off the floor as possible into your broad jump. So like that is working on reactive speed. Think about fighters. They're always on the balls of their feet. They're trying to move fast. So the stronger we can make them in those positions, the more force they're going to be able to produce, which is the name of the game essentially.
Yeah. What was? How did you get working with Tom as well? Did he have a?
So that was just through Ticey and Frankie. Obviously, he's seen me working with them over the past couple of years, and yeah, I think what we've. I've heard like on and off for a while that he's wanted to work with me, but I think he was working with someone else at the time.
Yeah.
And then this just his last camp is when I just started working with him. So when he fought for the southern area, I was working with him for most of that camp, I guess.
Yeah.
But we had a few weeks where we couldn't work out timings and stuff, so we didn't get to do a proper camp. But this is like his first proper camp for his southern area title eliminator.
He was a good fight as well, apparently.
Yeah.
Like it was. He dropped him in one.
Dropped him in the second round. Yeah, like to be fair, the lad did well to recover, man. Like, and I think like Tom just lost his gas tank a little bit. Like you could tell towards the end of the fight, he was a little bit tired. His output was down a little bit. So that's what we got to work on this camp, and that's what we have been working on. He's been doing bare assault bike sprints, man.
Do you do that with him? Do you do all the assault bike stuff with them? And
so
stuff
like
like that as well?
if I can fit it in their session, but it's like I know he can do the assault bike sprints by himself. If like because I only get to train Tom once a week as well. If I train him twice a week, I would do that with him because it's better. Like it's better to just have someone there with you, so I can. A little bit of a push. Yeah, and not only that, I can record his power output as well. So when you're doing assault bike sprints, what you'll see is. For their first few rounds, their power output, their watt output will be quite high on the bike, and you'll see it drop off over time as they get more fatigued. But we're trying to make sure that each time they do it, they can put out a little bit more. So that's how I know their strength endurance is going to get better. So if say for example like that sort of training is red zone training. It's like how long you can last in the red zone. So if you're trying to finish someone. Or you're in a tough brawl, like your heart rate's going to be high, but you've got to be able to keep throwing punches, or when you break up, be able to recover from it quickly. Like that's what that red zone training is for. Like them assault bike sprints, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
How many sprints would you normally do on an assault bike?
So it depends how you do it, really. So with Tom, I've been getting him to do. It's like 15-second sprint into a 45-second rest for 15 rounds. So 15 minutes of work basically. Yeah. So it's not like you're not doing it for too long.
And that's just you're going full out.
Yeah, all out for 15 seconds, then you rest. Like you can keep yourself pedaling if you want, or you can just stop. It doesn't matter. But it's meant to simulate. When you have like a big flurry, then you try and recover for a little bit, then you go back in big flurry.
So then he'll go back to like pushing it normally. So he's still moving.
It's just like you said, stimulating. Like if he's in a fight, that danger zone.
Exactly
how far can you dig deep?
Exactly that. Yeah.
Do you ever play a fight for him?
Do I ever play?
No, but like, could you ever like mimic a fight, sort of like VR, like the VR sets, and like put it on like YouTube, and then like when something's bad's happening, like power it out, and then when it's like tapers off, you could do that, couldn't you?
That sounds like a whole lot of setting shit up.
Yeah, that is right, but I always thought that with football, like
I need like a tech guy for that, bro.
Instead of just like running on a treadmill to get fit for football, like, could you put a game on and then like if the ball's going through, like do a hard sprint,
I feel like
and then come back down, and then
you doing 15.
Yeah.
Like 15 sprints, like that's you're definitely gonna see. You'll definitely see.
And you tailor all that. See, I didn't know you done all of that as well with them. I thought it was just the just strength and stuff.
Strength and conditioning coach as well is what I am. So yeah, the strength stuff is more of my focus. Again, I get like I don't get that much time to work for them, but like when they're doing their sparring, when they're doing their runs, like they're doing conditioning. If you're a boxer, you're doing conditioning all the time.
And do you tailor workouts for them during the week?
Yeah.
So you work with them once a week, but then do you still tailor them out?
So Ticey and Jordan I work with twice a week normally, but like Frankie, I only get to work with him once a week. So yeah, I'll tailor it to that essentially. So it's like if I'm say for example, I could see him 3 times in a week. Like I might do 2 strength sessions with him and then 1 conditioning session. But the conditioning session might only be that 15 minutes on the bike, or 10 minutes of boxing with the reaction ball, and then 10-15 minutes with that, and then 15 minutes on the bike as their skill work and conditioning.
Yeah.
So like that's what I would do if I had them for another session. I wouldn't do another strength session with them, because again it's just more to recover from.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do like a conditioning session like a assault bike, like you're going to recover from that so quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's way less stress on your muscles and your joints.
And also, you started CrossFit now.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
Like a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah,
have you put any of them movements you've learnt from then into your training with the athletes?
So we do with Ticey. I do power cleans. But she's the only one that I've introduced any of that sort of stuff to, just because she has a higher training age. Like when it comes to like complex lifts, like Olympic lifts, snatch, clean and jerk, like they have a long learning curve. So it's like I can get more out of simpler exercises than I can out of teaching them how to clean, because
there's so much components to
like to get like a good clean, like a clean that would actually be beneficial for your power production. It's like you might need 6 months of training for that, but it's like I can get you to do some like contrast training, for example. So like a heavy deadlift into some jumping moves, and it's like I have to teach you way less, and you're moving heavier loads, so I'm getting more out of that.
Yeah.
Whereas with a clean, it's like I might be able to get, say Frankie, you might be able to power clean 40 kilos, 50 kilos, but it's like I can get him to deadlift 110, 120. Like you're getting way more. You're getting way more bang for your buck out of that. And it's like I'll couple that up with some sort of jumping exercise where he's moving at speed. So that's what you get from like a power clean. It's like you move heavy weight at speed. So it's like me. I've been doing CrossFit for like a year and a half. So for someone like me, if I was a boxer, it would be beneficial, because I have the training age to.
You've got the foundation.
I've got the foundation to be able to do that power clean to help make me more explosive for boxing. But it's like Frankie doesn't, for example. So it's like I'll just do something simpler. And because they don't need to be able to clean or be able to do a snatch. If they could, obviously it's amazing. And if I have like a long off season with them, then I'd probably teach them that sort of stuff. But these guys want to be fighting all the time, so it's like it's hard to sort of have the scope to do that with them.
Yeah,
prioritize and execute.
But what's the actual CrossFit journey been like for you?
Unreal, man. I love it, bro. Yeah. Do you know what? I have like phases where I'm like proper into it. Like the past month or so, I haven't been as committed with it. Just like life gets in the way, I suppose, innit? And if I have like a week of like bad sleep, or if I have like the weekend where I was drinking loads, like my training this week's been poor. Like, so I've had like a few weeks where it's been shit, but this whole year for me is like I've hit PBs left, right, and centre. It's been unreal.
How many times a week do you normally train?
I try and train 5 times a week. So I'll go. My aim is to go CrossFit on a Monday for the squat class, and then gymnastics Tuesday morning. Then on Wednesday I train with my boy Joe Powell. He works at the movement place.
Yeah, we know Joe.
Yeah. So I train with him I'll try and train with him on a Wednesday. Then on a Thursday, I do snatch with Natasha Hughes, who runs CrossFit Luton. So like we train together on a Thursday. And then
when you learn these snatch, you go through the movement patterns.
Yeah. So you'll break the snatch down basically. So at the start, so our session might start with overhead squats. So that's like a component of your snatch, or drop snatch, or like snatch pulls. So which is like
that's where you like
that's where you shrug it up. Yeah, or it'll be like hang snatch or whatever, and then or you might do your full squat snatch. It will just depend on what the training block is focusing on essentially. But yeah, you'll start with your skill work, and then you'll do your main movement, and then you might have like a little WOD at the end.
It's mad. The CrossFit community is a lot different to like you'd say like the typical gym bodybuilding 2 bros.
It's way better, bro.
2 bros. Like the philosophy fit is just a lot different. It's more like good sleep, stretching, like you said, priming yourself, warming up, movement patterns. Where bodybuilding just like protein. Like it's completely different.
Yeah, look, I think as well like the mindset of a lot of the CrossFit guys is just bare different. Like the guys at CrossFit Luton, they're mad. Like they're so committed. Like I wish I had that level of commitment some of these guys have, because I'd be fucking unreal at CrossFit.
Yeah, but it's like they're physically fit. Like they can still physically do cardio things and they're lifting weight. It's completely different.
Like that's why they give themselves the title fittest in the world if you win the CrossFit Games, because you do a bit of everything. It's like you're not like a master at anything. So it's like there's always going to be people that are better at Olympic lifting than you, or they're always going to be better gymnasts than you. But it's like, can you piece it all together? Like that is the best thing about CrossFit. It's like so many different disciplines. Like there's so many things that I'm so shit at CrossFit. Fucking does my head in.
Yeah.
But it's like I love like when I get a skill, it's like fucking come on.
Because it's weird. Like some of the CrossFit Games, like they do like swimming laps. And you jump out and then you start doing muscle ups.
Yeah.
And swimming laps and then doing muscle ups.
Swimming, cycling, running, like, Olympic lifting, gymnastics.
It's everything.
All of it. Yeah.
You're physically
So was that? Remember that time we watched the Murph run?
Yeah, Murph.
Is that CrossFit?
Yeah, that's CrossFit.
Yeah. It's like
that's pretty mad. That man were doing it pretty quick.
Is that the one where they're running like back and forth?
Yeah, so Murph is like 100 press ups. 100 pull-ups, 200 press-ups, and then 300 squats, and then a mile run back at the start, mile at the end. Yeah, something like that. That's Murph.
But the pull-ups CrossFit people did is like that.
Butterfly
kipping,
pull-ups or kipping pull-ups. Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
So basically, like, imagine trying to do 100 strict pull-ups. Yeah, it's just hard. It's just, and it's not efficient. A butterfly pull-up, you use your hips, so
you can kind of like swing yourself.
Yeah. But it's like, look, if I got you to try and do a butterfly pull-up, you wouldn't have a fucking clue how to do it, because you have to learn the technique. Like again, I've been doing it for like a year, and I'm only just sort of getting butterfly pull-ups. Like they're a fucking ball ache to do.
Yeah.
And it's like if you wanna do a lot of reps, which is normally what you have to do, like Murph, 100 reps, you want to do that as fast as possible. So someone doing butterfly pull-ups is going to do 4 reps by the time you've done 1. That's the only reason they do butterfly and kipping pull-ups, because they're just more efficient. Like if you ask CrossFit guys to do pull-ups, they can all do pull-ups. Trust me. Like
they're fit.
I've never seen more girls in a gym be able to do pull-ups
I've already done
than in a CrossFit gym.
Yeah,
never. I've never seen more. But everyone says, oh, you're not doing proper pull-ups. It's like, trust me. Find me another gym where you have this many females and males that can do that many pull-ups, just strict pull-ups, let alone butterfly and kipping. Like that's a whole nother technique you got to learn.
Yeah.
So
the technique is very strange.
What was the competition in that like? What did you have to do when you went into that like sort of comp where you?
Sid, yeah, that was so that was like my first proper competition I did. That was like a team competition at Bath University. It was fucking sick, man.
Yeah,
like, I was always a bit like, I'm not really that arsed about CrossFit. Like I love doing it because it's like competitive, and I like doing competitive stuff. But it was like because I hadn't actually competed in ages. Like getting into that competitive vibe, like, all right, we're trying to, even if, like, we knew we weren't going to win, but it's like, if we can beat this team, or do you know what I mean? If we can just not finish last, even, do you know what I mean? It's like, or hit a PB in something. It's like that's what gets the energy out of me, man. That's why in CrossFit, when it's 1 rep max day, when it's something like that, like that's just my bag.
Is it?
Yeah, 100%, man. If it's like if we're trying to I hate all the hard slog stuff in it. Like there's some people who are like proper hard workers, they can just grind through it. It's like I can, but it's just I'd much rather just do something mad, lift something heavy. Like that's the sort of stuff that I love. But yeah, man, you get, like I say, you get the mix of that in CrossFit though. It's like the competition stuff. Like the vibe is always so good. Like you always have those few. Well, most people are just like going mad for you. Like
it's like-minded people.
Yeah. In the last one I did, Turf Games, like we was all just there, just shouting, bare, going mad. Like if you hit a lift, you're like, "Fucking let's go!" That's the shit I vibe off, man.
It did look good when I was watching your when you were posting stuff and that. Like you hit the lift and you were ultra cat. It just looked sick.
I fucking hit PBs all day. I was gassed.
How did the team do?
So in Sid, I can't remember where we finished. Like we didn't do great. Like we only got in through like clearing essentially. So it's like we shouldn't have been competing, but a couple of teams couldn't compete. So what, like our strongest team couldn't actually even go to Sid because we didn't think we got in. And then like one of our coaches, Lacey, he's like the best guy that we have at CrossFit. So he couldn't actually compete in our team. So it's like one of our best guys is gone. It's like they're stuck with people like me who've been doing it for a year. I can't even do fucking double unders properly. And it's like you got guys like me having to try and pull shit together for the team.
Yeah.
So it wasn't ideal, but we did way better than we thought. We qualified like last, but in the competition we didn't finish last. We finished nowhere near last. So, I mean, we didn't finish well, but
that's calm though, man. It's better.
We moved up, so it was good.
Oh, you went for it.
Yeah, like, that's it.
And you got the list. You want to run through that list of it?
Yeah, what can athletes do to prevent themselves from like knee injuries?
Knee injuries?
Ooh, yeah, because I think like knee injuries is like a big one with athletes. Or like components they can use to strengthen on like exercises, etc.
So I think with a lot of guys and their injuries is down to like the injury is always multifactorial. It's never just like you're not doing something. You're not doing something right. It could be like you haven't slept correctly or you haven't fueled yourself correctly. So injuries are a bit of a difficult subject to talk about in general. But it's like things that I think people can work on in general to help prevent injury would be like sleep is the most important thing. Hydration is very important. And all of us, we drink like bottled water, tap water. If you're an athlete, drink electrolytes like as regularly as you can. But with like when it comes to like knee injuries and stuff, that is, like you say, it's quite a common thing. But a lot of the time, it's down to the fact that a lot of people have like mobility restrictions as well. So mobility and stability restrictions. So if you're not working through a full range of motion, so you see people squatting. If you can't do a full depth squat, it's not necessarily an issue, but it means that you're going to be weaker in those bottom positions, that deep position. So like say in football, you're doing a slide tackle. It's like you got your leg stuck out bare far. It's in a compromised position. If you don't have some sort of exposure to those deep positions, like you're more than likely going to get injured. So things like for knees, ATG split squats. That's like one of my go-to exercises for someone who suffers from knee injuries. And like any sort of deep range of motion squat, like that would be my go-to exercises for knee injuries.
For knee injuries. Yeah. Or just people.
And like just strengthening your hamstrings, things like hamstring Nordic curls, another underutilized exercise. There's a lot you can do with just your body.
Them ones rip your hamstrings up for days.
They fuck you up. But it's like if you get yourself to a point where you can do a full Nordic hamstring curl, the likelihood of you having a hamstring injury is like so low.
Yeah.
And like even a reverse Nordic, so they're great for your knees as well. That's a where you lie back, you try and get your back to the floor.
Yeah.
Like they're unbelievable for your knees and your hip flexors. Like they're too, if you can master a reverse Nordic and a Nordic hamstring curl, I'd be very surprised if you got a knee injury.
Yeah.
Well, why just keep doing through their movements?
Yeah. Like that, they're just two bodyweight exercises. If you just did them and didn't do anything else, but you mastered those two exercises, like I'd be very surprised if you got a knee injury.
It is full range, like you said. It's
full range of motion. Yeah. And I think that's what like a lot of athletes miss is like with my fighters, like a lot of the time I've got to work with them for a shortened range of motion because it reduces eccentric loading, which reduces muscle fatigue because less muscle fibers tear. And the whole point of strength and conditioning is to try and help them produce as much force as possible. So it's like if I shorten their range of motion, I can get them to lift a heavier load. And when you're boxing, you never got your ass down to the floor in a squat, do you? So it's like, it's not.
So you're never like training them specific muscles.
But in between camp, it's like I'll do full range of motion stuff with those guys, with like Tyson and Frankie and stuff, because like that's when I wanna strengthen those weaker portions of their lift. It's like I know if I'm getting them to do like a quarter squat or a half squat, I can get them to lift fucking so much more, but at their end ranges, they're still going to be weak. So it's like it's hard. Like it's hard to strike the balance sometimes. But in sports like football, for example, I think it's a lot more important to work your full range of motion, because you're going to get into a lot more compromising positions. If you're a rugby player as well, again, you're going to get into a lot more compromised positions. Even a sprinter, it's like when you see like Usain Bolt run, his elbow is getting like so far back behind his head. But so if he has to be able to train that range of motion if he's going to be able to get into those positions, because again, it just makes you weaker if you're not strong in them positions. So training full range of motion just in general for everyone, I think, is a very important thing. Like that.
So that's just normal people. As well.
Yeah. So like a good person to look into would be the knees over toes guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's always talking about that. I think it's hard to say what's exactly the right thing to do, but that's what I found. Like full range of motion work is the thing that's what's made me more robust.
Because they used to say like for a lot of people it's bad to do full range of motion, but I think that's because people doing full range of motion probably do way too much weight. Maybe they can't control.
But people think that if your knees go over your toes when you squat, that's a bad thing, which is fucking bollocks.
But I think if you look at like Chinese people and that, like they can just they sit in a squat.
Yeah. Like you see,
yeah. They do. Like speaking about earlier, like Indians and that, like they still have holes in the ground, but they just shit over and squat, which you're actually meant to do. We sit here and think, fucking hell.
How we go to the toilet is wrong. I see Liam George put that thing up where your valve actually bends. Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense, because you're like trying to
sometimes just
strain a poo out.
Yeah.
That's why they say sometimes.
Have you ever tried to shit in a forest? It comes out like,
and it's like one wipe.
Yeah, bro.
They say you should sit on, what is it, them stools or something like that.
Yeah, one wipe.
How can people prevent overtraining or signs of overtraining? What can they look for? You know, some people just love going there.
You'll know it just from how you feel, honestly. Overtraining's a bit of a weird one as well. It's like
because I'm not gonna lie, I struggle, but I think I've overtrained for way too long.
Yeah, like it's like overtraining's a bit of a weird one. Like obviously you can overtrain, but it's like, but like say I could train every single day and never get to a point where it's like I feel like I'm overtrained. It's just how you're training. Like if you're pushing the envelope to 100% every single session, and it's like you're constantly working till failure, it's like, well, you're gonna feel overtrained because your body isn't prepared for that. So it's like you can train every day, multiple times a day, and never feel overtrained. But it's just you've got to be smart. You just got to be smart about how you're training. When it comes to like things to look out for, you'll feel it. Like if you're waking up and you're struggling to get out of bed, or you feel dehydrated, you're constantly feeling hungry, it's like you're feeling a bit agitated, it's like then maybe that is signs that you are overtraining. But it's like your body will tell you that, or you'll go and train, you'll get an injury.
Yeah.
Like that's they're the telltale signs most of the time. It's like, and again, sleep is another one. If you're not getting enough sleep, then you're a lot more likely to feel like you're overtrained, when in reality you're just under-rested, under-recovered.
What would you recommend as like a good night's sleep, or does that just depend on the person? 7 to 9 hours is the suggestion. I think there's a book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. I would suggest everyone to read that book. Like, it made me fucking prang out. Like I was thinking, oh my god, like because if say you go for a week where you're only sleeping 6 hours, like you don't realize how much that affects your testosterone levels.
Yeah,
like. That's why so much of the population have low test levels. So many males have low test levels because we're awake too long. We don't sleep long enough. It's like,
it's funny as well because we don't look at things compounding. We just take it day by day. But when you start doing the maths and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh, over 365 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a long time. Yeah, like
I need to reverse sun on my balls.
Yeah,
it's
man.
hard.
It's hard. Like, and the thing is, you can never make up for missed sleep as well. It's like you never 100% make up for it. Say if I don't sleep one night, it's like I can sleep extra hours over the next 4 or 5 days, but it's like I'm never going to get all of that sleep back that I missed. So it's like, again, that recovery I'm not getting back.
Yeah.
And rested sleep as well, because you could sleep.
Yeah, you got to get.
You could sleep long, but it's like how deep you want to sleep, how rested are you?
Yeah, you got to get the right sleep. Yeah.
Sometimes I oversleep and it makes me feel even worse than what I did when I undersleep or something.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes you can have sometimes I'll have like a 7-hour kit, but I feel really rested. You can tell you feel really good. I feel good.
You know, like when you have them days where you wake up without an alarm.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you've had the perfect sleep. Like that's what you should strive for. Obviously, life gets in the way, so you can't do that. But yeah, 7 to 9 hours sleep. That is the suggested metrics. Like, if you can get that, then you're good.
But if you're on to nutrition.
Oh yeah.
I see you put a post up about protein. You want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So basically, protein's one of them ones. Obviously, it's the building blocks of muscles. So, my suggestion to everyone is to have 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram that you weigh. Like if you're someone who does sport regularly, you're an athlete, you should always be trying to hit that 2 grams per kilo you weigh. But it's without eating protein, like you do not have the building blocks for muscle. So it's like if you want to look better, you need to eat more protein. It's as simple as that. But yeah, that should be your metric. And if you've never tracked your protein intake, or you've never tracked your calories or something like that, then I 1,000,000% suggest doing that. Because a lot of people, it's like diet plans, for example. I hate giving people diet plans. I never do it. Like, it's just because if you don't follow the plan, then you're not going to hit your goals. But in reality, you've got to be able to go out with your mates, or you've got to be able to go out for a meal, have a drink. Like, I'm never going to account for alcohol in your plan. I'm never going to account for you going out to or eating a whole Domino's. Like, how can I know? How can I know what you're going to eat?
Yeah.
It's like that's why if you set someone a calorie target, it's like this is the amount of calories you've got to average throughout the week. If you hit this, then if your goal is to lose weight, then you'll lose weight. If your goal is to gain a little bit of weight, then you'll gain the right amount of weight, not too much body fat, for example. But it's like if you're I've lost my train of thought.
Protein.
Oh yeah, protein. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you've never tracked your protein intake, it's like you'll never know like how much protein you're getting from that sandwich you're eating or from that bowl of cereal. You realise you get fuck all from a bowl of cereal.
Yeah,
it's like,
I think it's mad because a lot of people undereat.
Yeah. Well, no,
a lot of people don't even eat, like you said, a lot of protein.
Yeah, a lot of people undereat protein. I'd say more people overeat than undereat, but more people overeat refined processed sugars and stuff like that. It's like there's nothing wrong with having sugar, but it's like, and a lot of the time we talk about sugar, but like it's the combination of sugar and fat that tends to be the issue. It's like you're never gonna sit there spooning in sugar, are you? But you'll sit there and spoon in ice cream, which is sugar and fat. It's that combination that's what makes things so hyper palatable.
Yeah,
and like fat is actually the higher in calories, so it's like you're getting more of the calories from the fat than you're getting from the sugar, but.
And when you pair them together, they store differently. Is that right?
I don't know about that. Store differently. I don't know about.
So I think they're both fuel sources.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates a fuel source, and fat's a fuel source. So obviously, when you pair them together, one's got to store as fat, one's got to go as energy.
Yeah. All right. So look. So
if I'm right, am I right?
So say there's like people that do the ketogenic diet, like they eat hardly any carbohydrates, so fat is their energy source, but as humans, we break down carbohydrates a lot quicker, so that is going to be your body's go-to source of energy. Glucose will be the go-to. But when there's no more glucose left, then you start breaking down. Then you start breaking down fat and protein. They just take longer to break down. It's just a bigger process. So that's why when you see runners on their runs, they'll take gels of them, like it's like glucose gels, because they'll be able to break down those carbohydrates a lot quicker than they'll be able to break down the fat that they've got stored. Yeah. And you don't want to lose muscle as well.
Quick sugars.
Yeah, you want them that like quick, like sugars are the best source of energy for your body. But it's like, So yeah,
no, as in like that's
It's
what
funny,
like
so
fruits and stuff like that are better.
Nutrition's
than like a
crazy
chocolate bar or
topic.
something.
yeah. Nutrition's like it's like a whole.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is a rabbit hole.
I feel like
100%.
it gets there's so much information about it. We're just like you don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like my mate. It's like my mate was saying to me the other day. He's like, "What the fuck do I eat? What do I eat? What am I meant to eat?"
Like that's why I think like having some sort of consistency with what you're eating is the most important thing. It's like if you're someone who you know you eat 3 set meals a day, for example, and it's like you for breakfast you have the same thing every morning, for lunch you have pretty much the same thing. Maybe dinner you're a little bit more wild with dinner. You change things up a lot more with that. But it's like you have way more consistency way more control over your calories there. But if you're someone who is like, some days you eat breakfast, some days you don't. Sometimes you'll go out for lunch, or sometimes you'll go out for lunch and dinner. It's like if you have no consistency in how you're eating, then you're gonna have no consistency in how you look either. So it's like the more consistent you can be with like your meals, your meal times, that sort of stuff, like the more like the better results you'll see. Like, and that's why I say to people like track your food for once. Track your food for like a week, and you'll see like how much variety you actually have in your life. Because the only people that need to track their food are the people that are like, fucking hell, I'm not in the shape I want to be in. I never really have to track my food. It's like I stay the same weight year round pretty much. I might fluctuate a few kilos, but it's like luckily I can pretty much intuitively eat. It's like some days, like if I know I've eaten loads, like I won't eat the next day. It's not even, I haven't thought about it. I just don't do it. It's just something that's happened over time. But it's like I had to first have that understanding about calories, about protein, about the types of foods that I'm eating for me to like be able to put these processes into practice. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you've never done that, then you're always going to have that issue. Like that's again why track your food, track how much protein you're taking on, and a lot of the time you're going to see that you're not eating enough. So 1.5 grams to 2 grams of protein per kilogram you weigh. If you're not hitting that, then do something about it. Eat another chicken breast. Have a protein shake.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to do. Like so me, I weigh 80 kilos, so I should be having about 160 grams of protein. Say if I only ate twice a day, it's still easy enough for me to get 90 grams of protein in 2 meals. Like, I eat fucking massive meals. You might have seen some of the stuff I put on Instagram. Like I have like 6 scrambled eggs with like smoked salmon on a bagel. Like that's
6 scrambled eggs ain't fitting on no bagel.
maybe multiple bagels. That's not the point. but it's like in that meal, I'm easily getting that amount of protein.
Yeah.
So even if I only eat twice in a day, a lot of times I might only eat twice in a day. So I have that, and then for dinner I might have, I don't know, I might make a curry, or I might have chicken and rice, but it won't be fucking boring ball bag chicken and rice. It'd be nice chicken and rice. I mean? But it's like it's easy enough to get that protein in them 2 meals.
Be a bit more flexible as well. Yeah. You're understanding now. Okay, I can have this maybe at the weekend. I could dabble into this because I know what I've been eating during the week. Yeah. I think it's just simplicity, you know.
Yeah, and I think as well with like tracking your food, everyone thinks like it's boring, isn't it? It's like you hate doing it, but it's like if you don't understand calories, if you don't understand how much you're eating, you're always going to come back to this spot where it's like, oh, I don't like what do I have to change to get to look how I want to look? Just fucking put in the work for a couple of weeks, see like this is how much I'm eating. Okay, what changes can I make? It can be simple changes like I always cook with butter because I'm not asked about the calories I'm eating. It's like, again, I don't have the issue of having to like control my weight, luckily. But if I was trying to lose weight, I wouldn't be using butter. I'll be using Fry Light spray.
Yeah.
It's like simple changes you can make. Do you know what I mean? Or say like I love full fat milk. I love like, just because it just tastes nicer, isn't it? But it does. It tastes nicer. But it's like you can have skim milk you can have skim milk, or you can have semi-skim milk. It's like it's basically the same thing, but not quite as good. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like instead of having a normal Coke, you have a Diet Coke. It's like it's not quite the same, but it's basically the same. It's like you got to have some sort of compromise, but you can still have all the things you enjoy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's as simple as that, man. It's like a lot of the time it's like those little tiny changes to what you currently do will mean that you can still do pretty much what you want. Like you don't have to change everything. The more things you try and change, the harder it's going to be to stick with it. So
yeah. No, I'm with you. Man. I'm 100%. Any more off that list?
No,
you good?
Man. Yeah, you've covered.
Yeah, I've got one question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Like,
boy,
Do you see yourself? Yeah.
that's a hard one. I'm hoping I'm working with a fucking stable of fighters, and I've got a few properties, mate. I don't know. I don't want to be like, the only thing in my job, is you work long hours. Like I might not finish till 9 in the evening. But it's like, if I want to have like a family, kids, and that, I don't want to be working till 9 at night or working really early in the morning, then really late in the evening. It's long, isn't it? So what I would like is to get myself to a point where I'm working with predominantly fighters, just keep the clients that are like the everyday clients that I want. So it's like I can be a lot more selective with that stuff. Get into property. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking I want to do. Because I don't want to be spending all of my time working for money. Do you know what I mean? I want money to work for me. Essentially, that's what I want to try and get to. But obviously, I've got a lot of roots to put down first before I can do that. But that's the aim. Yeah, work with fighters.
Anyway.
what about fighter wise? Hopefully, have a few world champions under
mate.
your belt.
Well,
You've already got Commonwealth.
I'm gonna have one by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Facts. I've got one by the end of the year. There's no doubt about that. But all the guys, luckily, all the guys I work with are so talented. Do you know what I mean? Like Frankie to watch is like one of my favorite fighters to watch.
Mate,
he just moves. He moves
so
mad, doesn't he?
Great to watch, man.
It's like if I try and get Frankie to explain how he does what he does, it's like he's like, I don't know, I'll just do it. But it's like it's just so natural to him.
Even when he boxes these journeymen, he still puts them to shame because he generally can box. That's why he breaks them down. Because he's like, I can box them.
Do you know what was funny? I was because I was doing this sort of like doc for it, and I was getting videos of his dad, and I was watching back these videos, and his dad moves exactly the same. Yeah, similar bounces
style.
In, tap, bounces out, moves around. Like it's very similar.
I love it. I love that sort of herky jerky style. Good footwork.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
So entertaining.
Showman.
It's like that. Like Loma's my favorite fighter because he moves like a magician. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you see little bits of that in Frankie. It's like those footworks, like how he steps around someone, throws to the body, throws to the head, steps around. It's like you guys like, what the fuck's he gone?
Yeah.
Do you know, I love fighters that can do that, innit? And that's why I love watching. That's why I love watching Frankie. I can't wait till he starts fighting some guys where he can show his skill because
So you can put them out.
yeah, man. Like
He's putting people out. If people just start chucking back to him, he's putting them out.
You saw his last fight at York Hall. Yeah, he's just there. Like the guy he's fighting just there like this. It's like it's so hard to finish someone who's just covering up every so often, throwing an overhand. It's like, but. Mate, if he opened up just a little bit when he was throwing one of them shots to the body, he's done. Like there's going to be no gas left in the tank because he would have taken it all out of you. But if you're there tense up the whole time, it's like you can take a lot more like that, can't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Frankie can go far, man. How far is hard to say. Obviously, like the men's game is hard. Like especially at his weight, like the weight category he's fighting at is like. There's so many killers down there, man.
Is it Josh Warrington and stuff like that? Isn't it? Dennis McCann's in his way, I think.
And
but you know what?
Is there no the weight below him or is Frankie's super bantam, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, so that knows the weight below, but I swear he's going to be going up. Yeah, same weight as Ticey. But look, what I'm saying is all the guys around that sort of weight category, they're so fast, they're so talented. Like
the pool is bigger as well.
Yeah, the pool is way bigger. Like for Frankie to get to like a world championship fight is going to be a lot harder than it is for Ticey, just because there's just more people to fight essentially. Yeah. But yeah, I can see him.
Once he gets the platform. Yeah. Like you said, once he gets them big, sure, that's when you're gonna see him.
Yeah. I
and then you'll be able to judge. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, when it comes from like skill to skill, the guys that are fighting on the shows that he's fighting on, he's the most talented by a fucking mile. By a mile.
Yeah.
Is what you saying to him before, innit? Like have grit. He should not be where he is. Like he should, if anything, he should be up. He should be up there. He's no different from anyone else.
I think he's had a lot of hard. He's like had a hard time like since he got into professional boxing. I think as an amateur, he was probably never injured once, and then it's like he's had the hand injuries, he's had like the stuff with the brain scan and that, like, and touch wood now, nothing will go like it'll all go right. Do you know what I mean? He's had a couple fights this year. He's looked good, but we just want him to fight someone who's gonna let us see the best of him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when he fights someone who opens up a bit, you're gonna see magic from Frankie's story, and that's just my belief.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Any more from nah? So we'll move on to like the last two questions of the pod. How do you want to be remembered? So when you've done what you've done, you've got them properties, you've got the stable of world champions. How do you want to ultimately be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as someone who helped make the people he works with that little bit better. Like again, I don't want any of the plaudits. I just wanna be that little part. Maybe it's
that little cog in the wheel.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I just want that. I just want to feel like I've been part of something bigger than just me. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm never going to be a world champion, but if I got to work with some world champions, fucking hell, that's making it for me. Do you know what I mean?
Can be on their journey.
Yeah, man. And I got to be just a little part of that, man. That's like so it's like obviously with Tycee, for example, she's going to be I think she's going to be a world champion by the end of the year. It's like. It's sort of like that's a win for me, man. I haven't done anything, but I've helped her a little bit. But like, if she wins that, it's like fucking hell. I work with a world champion. That's unreal. I want to be remembered for that. Like, just being a small contributing factor for some of the best fighters, hopefully in the world. That's the aim, man.
Mad being like for you, especially. It must be for being on that journey to starting off with them and now, especially Tycee reaching.
That's been the best thing. I've been with them from the beginning. Like obviously, I work with Jordan and Tom as well, and like I love working with both of them too. But it's just the start of my journey with them. Jordan's another one, like big profile already. Like he can, like you don't know how far Jordan can make it. Like. Him and Linus have fought when they were amateurs. Like Linus is fighting at a British level. Like I know Jordan can fight at that level. How far he can go, I mean, remains to be seen. But like he's a dog, boy, so he can go far. Same with Tom fighting for a Southern Area title. Like he'll get that Southern Area title soon. So all I know is like I just want to be a part, like a small part of those journeys. Like if I can work with as many fighters as possible, that's my aim. And as long as like they appreciate the work that I put in with them, I'm not asking for nothing. I just want like as long as I've done a good job and I've helped give them that extra 1-2% here and there, I'm happy. I don't want a lot, bruv. That's it.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah. And your most euphoric moment in life so far?
My most euphoric moment in life so far. So in life so far, I don't know about life, but in my career when Tycee won her title, 100%.
Yeah.
Bro, that was mad for me. Like, I was buzzing for days after that. Yeah. Honestly, and like in my career, they will be the moments, especially with Tycee and Frankie, like because they're the reason that I even do what I do. Like I've got so much love for them guys, and again like Chunky as well. He helped get me into it. It's like I'll always have love for them guys for that reason. It's like if and when they win their world titles, it's like. Oh, that's the pinnacle, man. Like,
yeah.
I know that I know it now. I don't have to experience it yet. I know that will be the pinnacle for me. But yeah, I don't. And in terms of my life, obviously, I've got a lot of life to live. So I don't have loads of euphoric moments in life. I've had loads of good experiences, but I wouldn't say anything overly euphoric. I've got many to come.
Liverpool or anything like this give you a euphoric moment.
Okay. So. Winning the Champions League was unreal. I was with my old man. The most recent one, was that 2019? 2018, 2019. Yeah, went to Liverpool with my old man. Adam couldn't make it, unfortunately. But me and my dad and my brother always watch Liverpool together. But me and my old man were in this pub, like we're just in this like little shitty pub in Liverpool.
In Liverpool.
We went up to Liverpool for it. And it was fucking unreal, man. Like it was the shit game, innit? the Liverpool Tottenham game. It was a shit game because we scored early, and then it sort of like
killed the game
off a bit, innit? But yeah, that was probably one of the better moments in my life as well. Yeah, I mean, like anything celebrating sport is honestly they're always the moments where I feel like I'm having the most fun, like the most euphoric moments. Yeah. They're always sport related, man. Again, I haven't had like a kid or I haven't had a family. Like, I don't have a family. It's hard. I feel like they're going to be the moments in your life, innit? But yeah, for me, like there've been that sort of stuff, or just like moments with the boys on holiday and stuff, like times in Thailand where it's just like you're sitting there thinking, this is what life should be like.
Yeah.
This is how I wish this is how life was year round. Like we're going Bali at the end of June. I'm sure there'll be some euphoric moments there as well. So, yeah, man. That'll be a completely different pod.
That's an over 18s pod. That's after hours. But Reece, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man.
It's been a pleasure.
And for anyone who's watching, who's interested in what you do, I'll link all the stuff down below. Obviously, we've had a lot of fighters on, so any fighters looking to get that 1 to 2%,
I got you, man.
Come through. The boys been putting in that work, and there's some champions in the stable.
That's it, man. If you want to be the best in the world, you know where to go.
But people, that's been another episode of the Curious Fijian, and peace, people.
Ledge. That was sick, boys. Appreciate it.